What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. How is everybody doing? Back once again with the notorious Mr. Burt Green. How are you doing, my friend?
I am very well. I was feeling quite fragile this morning. I felt less fragile as the day has gone on, mostly because I just thought, well, no, I'll work hard all week. I'll go to the gym all week. And I will just treat myself to having a beer, possibly before midday, to try and level myself out. And I've been staying the course. Because I'm committed. You know?
As well, you should be, my friend. I mean, we deserve it. That's what we were born to do more than just work and pay bills. And it's the weekend. You know what I mean?
It's the weekend. Yeah. And it's been a fun weekend as well. I've got to be honest. It's top class. Absolutely top class.
Awesome, man. Living the life, living it the way we should live it, enjoying our lives.
That's right? It. You have to enjoy yourself, especially when the UFC is on at a reasonable time. You got to enjoy that shit.
Absolutely, man. I love watching it at this time, more so because I hear so many complaints from the Americans and the time difference and the fact that they got to sit down in the afternoon to watch the fights.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's basically Crimea River.
There you go, man.
It's like, although to be fair, I think we mentioned this on a previous show before, but I think I would actually, well, to be fair, the pay-per-views, you can go and watch it in a bar in America. That's the difference. Like, try finding a bar over here that will be showing the UFC at 5 a.m. when the main event walks out. You're going to be hard-pressed. And if you're going to be awake at that time anyway, or in a fit state to even remember the fight by 5 a.m. Let's be fair, because if you're committing to staying up that late, then you're probably going to be getting hammered, and then you'll wake up in the morning and be like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure the fights were good. Don't remember.
Yeah,
Do not remember a goddamn thing."
That's the problem. I remember quite a few where when it was starting to get popular, and just before I left Ireland to come to Switzerland, there was a bar manager friend of mine in Cork City, where I'm from. 3 o'clock, bars closing, staff are cleaning, and it's just like the UFC friends of his would be invited in to all chip in for the pay-per-view. And it was a pretty cool way to watch it. But then your entire Sunday is just destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Breakfast in the afternoon, and you're just wrecked, and you lose an entire day. Now I used to just wake up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, have a Red Bull, and I'm fine after 4 hours sleep. But, when it's in our time zone, like whether it's in Asia or in the Middle East or in Europe, it's just a pleasure to sit down with your evening. I don't go out much, but sit down. Last night, dude, I cleaned my kitchen during the prelims. I had some food during the prelims. I got my kids to bed, and I watched the main card with a beer in my hand on my couch, man. That's all I wanted.
Perfect. That's perfect. I mean, I had a barbecue around my mates, because obviously we had the Formula One qualifying as well in the afternoon. So we had a 2 barbecue day. We had a barbecue in the afternoon and a barbecue in the evening as well. We had some armadillo eggs. Have you ever had an armadillo egg?
I like armadillos.
Yeah.
Crunchy
armadillo eggs. They're delicious. It's something that my mate found on Instagram, I think. It's like a Texas thing, apparently it's big in Texas. Right. If anyone from Texas is watching this right now, they will know what an armadillo egg is already. Basically, it's like a chili stuffed with cheese, wrapped in pork mince, seasoned like pork mince, wrapped in bacon, and then put on the barbecue. Whoo! Gotta say, it's top tier. Absolutely top class. Loved it.
That is a proper manly dish right there, man.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, that's all we had. Basically, one of them each, a bunch of ribs, bunch of burgers. I ate probably more calories than I should have done, but I do train a lot, during the week, so I'm not too worried about it.
Absolutely, man. That sounds delicious. I did have a barbecue today, but I want to stay on your barbecue right now. That sounds like a grease heaven. Obviously,
it was
with a couple of beers.
Absolutely perfect, because you get all the bacon. We use streaky bacon, so you get it all nice and crisp, like all just around the outside, and it forms just like a nice crispy layer on the crunchy on the outside. Soft and I think that's why they called it.
There you go. That's what it's there for.
And I think because literally the streaky bacon, when it goes crisp, it almost forms like an armadillo shell. I totally see why they call it that.
Yeah,
But
it makes sense.
Absolutely delicious. Yeah, very good.
Look at us, city martial arts, man. We're promoting a healthy lifestyle with a beautiful dish like that and drinking beer on a podcast, you know.
Lots of protein.
For the working class.
Yeah.
You know. But my question, Burt, you didn't go to the fights. So if they were on where I'm living close by, I'd have gone to the fights. What was your thought process?
I mean, number one, it was very difficult to get tickets. Very difficult. More or less, they sold out instantly. Then you're off to the resale sites. At which point, you might as well sell your fucking kidney to get one of those fuckers. Like, what's the point? For me, it would have to be a real. I like going to the UFC live. I like going to watch mixed martial arts live. I go to quite a lot of Cage Warriors events because it's 25 quid a ticket, and it's the same. It's you see more name fighters at the UFC, but the experience is more or less the same.
Right.
And for me, I just feel like it has to be a very good card for me to consider parting with like 700 quid for it. Because I mean, even the cheapest seats were like going for like 400 or 500 quid. I was like, yeah, no. Yeah. The card's good, but it's not that good. It's not like you've got all of the household names going up there. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Paddy Pimlet, but where is he in the rankings? He's a relatively new kind of thing. It's not like you've got Conor McGregor on the card. I hate to throw his name at, but like him or not, the man, I would go and see a Conor McGregor pay-per-view. I'd 100% go and watch it because likewise. You're getting a fucking huge show. And like I said, there were good fighters on the card, good fighters that I really liked, fighters that I rate very highly. But superstars, Paddy Pimlet's not a superstar yet. Love him, absolutely love him. I think he's going to be an absolute star. He's not a star yet, not on a global kind of level anyway. But I mean, he will be 100%. Like in Liverpool, man can't move without fucking signing autographs. Do you know what I mean? But in the UK, huge star. Globally, not yet, which will happen. But for me, there needs to be global household names if I'm going to part with that kind of money to go and watch a UFC event. Because it's different without the commentary as well. It's weird. It's fun to go and watch it live. But as from a viewing experience, I don't know. I kind of think I prefer having a barbecue with my mates, watching it on the TV, because you get the best view. It's in high definition.
Yeah.
It's there. You get the commentary. Yeah. It might be an unpopular opinion, but for me, I think I prefer that, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense. And again, if it was a top tier ranked or title fight or something, then yeah, I get it. If it was sold out in minutes, I wouldn't even touch those reselling sites.
No.
They don't deserve my money, those fucking scumbags, But yeah, let's get into it, man. The reason why we are here, it is UFC Fight Night. Blades versus Aspinall at the O2 Arena last night. Well, it's Sunday. This is probably going to post tomorrow because I'm lazy and I don't want to edit tonight. And I'm very tired.
No, so Sunday is not for editing.
Exactly. My thought process today was I'm excited to do a podcast because I've got energy. I had a barbecue today, Burt, and I'm tired. It's warm here in Switzerland. We got 34 degrees today.
We didn't hit 30. I think we were about 32 over here.
It's
like, what's a couple of degrees between friends, right? Yeah.
Exactly, right? That's what she said. So let's kick off the main card, because the prelims, dude, I was making food, I was tidying my kitchen, I was answering 50 different questions about coloring books, but nonetheless, I got to watch and listen to the fights. First fight on the main card, Volkan Ozdemir from just down the road here versus Paul Craig. Paul Craig came out of the locker room and he looked like he was a Viking ready to fucking kill. He pulled guard a lot. And
we all knew he was going to do that.
Oh, it was so awkward, dude.
We all knew that.
there's a rule in jiu-jitsu. They're not really in jiu-jitsu, but the jiu-jitsu community of MMA. Don't pull guard.
No, pulling guard is perfectly legitimate.
It is.
But do you know what I didn't like? It wasn't so much when he was pulling guard, it was when he was lying on the ground saying,
come in.
It's like, no. It's your job. If your specialism requires you to be on the ground, it is your job to take it there. Pulling guard is a way of taking it there, and I'm fully on board with that. That is absolutely fine in my view. Yeah. But lying on the ground and just saying, come and just come into my gut, not into that. Tough one. But he was tired. I do understand. I understand and appreciate that.
Yeah,
he was very tired.
There was a lot of strike there. Would you say a correct English, Burt, because you're from the land of England? There were a lot of very, very, very good strikes in that fight. A lot of sloppy boxing, but a lot of beautiful left hooks and straight rights happening.
Do you know what really impressed me with Paul Craig's striking? Actually, that spinning back kick to the body was really landing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's not terrible. Yeah. He should have been doing more of that, honestly.
Yeah, but it was good.
Obviously, Uzdomir's got that power that you just can't take liberties with that power. And I think that was what was going through it. That was his thought process, wasn't it? Yeah, was if I can avoid his power at all costs, I will do that. And that's what he tried to do. And he paid the price because he lost the decision. As soon as I said it was 30-27, I was like, well, Paul Craig's never got this in a million years.
Yeah.
But it's
it was a good fight.
It was fun. But interestingly though, how would you score? Because actually, in my head, because I understand what Paul Craig is doing, I kind of scored the rounds more heavily to Paul Craig because he was dictating where the fight was going. Even though he's on the bottom, he was dictating where the fight was going, and he was fighting for the submissions. For that reason, I was kind of inclined to score the first 2 rounds to Paul Craig. But obviously, the judges only really let score who's on top. My question is, do you think that that's right, that they score who's on top, regardless of who's initiated the position?
This is the big debate because, naturally our brains are wired to, if you're in a street fight, the guy who's on top is winning, right?
That's what she said.
That is what she said, and she said it many times. But when you're scoring, you do have a valid point. The where the fight was dictated was Paul Craig. He was pulling guard. He was keeping him down. He was threatening with submissions. Volkan was doing a very good job spinning out of the leg locks, and does that score as heavy as a clean strike or a takedown defense or an escape? The topic for debate, and Joe Rogan talks about this. It's old school boxing rules that were going on here, and it's not really jiu-jitsu rules for, there's the 4, 2, 3, there's positional scoring for jiu-jitsu. That's not in MMA. So do we look at that as he dictated where the fight was going, but he did nothing? So how do you score it? It's really weird. And I said to my wife last night when I was saying, I hope the Swiss guy wins because I'm a huge fan of his, but with the scoring, how is it going to look in the judges if they see that this guy controlled where the fight went? So I heard 30-27. I was like, thank fucking God.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I heard 30-27, I was like, well, Uzdomir's got this, because there's no way that you're giving Paul Craig every single round.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. It was fun.
It was. Moving on to the second fight. Dude, this was a smasher. Molly McCann versus Hannah Goldie.
Oh, yeah.
Hannah Goldie looked fucking jacked. She had those traps, dude. Oh my God. I'm like, this girl can probably punch. She can probably wrestle. I didn't know who she was.
She's probably on the juice.
Yeah, most likely.
Not being funny, but you don't really get traps like that unless you're juicy.
She was mini Brock Lesnar, I tell him.
Yeah. I think Molly McCann was taking the piss out of her in the build-up. She called her the muscles from Brussels.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was fantastic. Now, there was some good striking and good wrestling in that fight, but, Molly McCann is turning out to be this fucking dog.
Brilliant.
Oh my God, man.
Spinning back elbow again, like, because the thing
Unreal.
is, right, because the spinning back elbow, it landed, right, it didn't put her out, it landed, but like I think it was Paul Felder, it was just like, oh, she threw that spinning back elbow. Oh, imagine if that had landed again. So what are you talking about, Paul? It did land, it just didn't put her out. It landed, it just didn't quite finish her off, and then she finished her on the ground. That spinning back elbow is money. That's a money strike. Love it.
You really get a good torque. You get some good momentum as you're making the turn. It's very disorientating when you see it coming towards you. Even if you block it, you're opening yourself up to that 1-2 after, and then Molly just swarmed on her. It was
brilliant.
Beautiful.
If it's thrown well, John Jones throws it very well. Actually, he's one of the best at doing it, because it's almost a defensive strike, isn't it? It's like because you're kind of, sorry, I keep burping. I'm trying to burp away from the mic. I've been drinking a lot of beer today. I do apologize. But it's kind of a defensive strike in that you're kind of blocking the whole way around. If that makes sense. It's kind of like, because I'm not a boxing expert, but in my head, it's like the cross is a defensive punch, because you can tuck your chin as long as you've got your jab hand up guarding that side of your head. You tuck your chin, and the cross throws out there. There's limited ways for you to get hit in return.
Exactly.
And it's similar in the world of elbows. It's a similar kind of strike, because you're defending the whole way around. Yeah. And then it lands, and as you said, the torque that you can get on it is, and also it's just fun to see, isn't it? Spinning shit. Oh, we're spinning now, huh? We're doing spinning shit now.
What was that? Carlos Condit versus Nick Diaz,
Nick
right?
Diaz, yeah. Oh, we're doing spinning shit now.
Fucking beautiful. A very, very sad next fight, man. It's hard to watch, dude, because there was a retirement, and he came out of retirement. But what do you pronounce this name? Nikita Krylov versus
Krylov, yeah.
Alexander Gustafsson. Alexander's one of those guys, dude. It's heartbreaking to see it. I'm one of the guys, maybe I'm biased because I don't like John Jones, but I scored it in favor of Alexander Gustafsson for that John Jones fight. And then he goes
we'll have to do a whole separate podcast on that, because you couldn't be more wrong, and I'd like to tell you why. But
excellent.
That's a whole separate podcast. We'll do that. We will do that. I think it deserves a whole podcast, though.
100%. Dude, we will set that up next week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slaughter you with fact. It's okay.
No, please do. Like, I love disagreeing on this kind of shit. But for me, I've watched that fight a million times, and it wasn't even as close as people think.
Wow. Okay.
That's my opinion.
I can't wait to have that one. but the downward spiral of his career since that fight has been quite sad, especially the way
he wouldn't beat John Jones right now. I'll tell you that for free.
Absolutely. And it's sad to see, especially with the DC fight, when he was getting those uppercuts from the ground, like the seatbelt position, and the retirement, and then he's back, and then he's heavyweight, and then he's not heavyweight, and then he just gets
that was what worried me when he went to heavyweight, because it wasn't like he was going to heavyweight because he thought, that's the right move. It's because he couldn't be bothered to cut. Yeah, and that's dangerous. Like, I cannot believe that Fabricio Verdun was an underdog in that fight. I thought that was fucking disrespectful, honestly. I was pretty happy because I had a tenner at 9-1 on Verdun by submission.
Not bad.
I was like, there is only one way this fight is going. Verdun is going to submit him probably in the first round. And that's one of the Burt lockers where you look back on it, it's like, that's a pretty good one. Yeah. But again, my fight picks for this one were right in a sad way, in that I did say that 2000, like the last time we saw Gustafsson look good was in 2017 when he did that Mortal Kombat combination on Glover Teixeira. And since then, he has not looked good. And I said that the only way that Gustafsson wins this fight is if 2017 Gustafsson comes back. And unfortunately, 2017 Gustafsson is not coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Simple. He's got to retire now and just go out with no more like Chuck Liddell type damage. And, let's see where it goes from there. But again, yes, I do hope he really assesses this with his team, because I was so rooting for him last night, man. And I'm watching the fight going, stop. Just like, fuck.
For me, what was interesting was, I had Krylov by submission, because I thought because that's been Gustafsson's kryptonite of recent years anyway. Anthony Smith submitted him, Verdun submitted him, Krylov has 15 submissions on his record. So in my head, it was just like, if he's going to beat Gustafsson, it's probably going to be there, because in my head, actually, I thought this was a fight that they were throwing to Gustafsson. They thought he should win this. Like, with no disrespect to Krylov, but I feel like that's what they were giving him with this fight, was like, look, Gus, come on. If you want to get back in, this is the guy to get your eye back in. Come on. And the fact that Krylov knocked him out, I thought that's the one area that Gustafsson would have an easier time with Krylov, in all honesty. But the fact that he knocked him out, I'm like, no, that's not good. It's not good. Yeah.
And dude, Paddy Pimlet versus Jordan Levitt.
Oh, Paddy the Paddy. Oh, Paddy the Paddy. Go on.
So just my take on him is he's signed with Barstool Sports. The reason I set up this podcast is because of Dave Portnoy at Barstool Sports, ringside with the monocle. He had the Paddy wig and everything. He's managed by Graham Boylan, which is the owner of the gym that I used to train at.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the MMA clinic in Cork.
So you got loads of ties to Paddy then?
I never met Paddy.
All the ties.
All the ties. I'm sure I can make it happen with like 17 phone calls and a blank check. Yeah. But with what Paddy showed in his entire UFC career is that first round, dude. He's got to stop getting hit. He's got to stop getting controlled, because Paddy Pimlet could be and is going to be and will be bigger than Conor McGregor. Yeah,
I think he will. For me, the first round wasn't all that worrying. I think he knew what Leavitt was. I always call it Leavitt. So yeah. I always know. He always knew what he was going to try and do, and he kind of. And Paddy nearly finished Leavitt like a few times in that first round. To be fair, I was pretty happy that he didn't, because I did have Paddy Pimlet round 2.
Or 2, yeah.
My bet came off. Pretty happy with that one. But yeah, for me, the only thing that. Because it's a similar thing. It's one of the only things that I don't hugely like about. But again, it's because they're Scousers, right? And that they love to jump on their soapboxes when it comes to politics, and it annoys me. Keep politics out of the octagon. Yeah. So like, I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what fucking political party you support. Keep that shit out of the octagon, please. Just unless you're doing like a hilarious bit like Colby Covington, that's funny. But when you're like, I don't know, like, because Paddy came out one night after. I like Paddy Pimlet. I'm a huge fan of his. But it's like when he was talking about justice for the 96 in reference to the Hillsborough disaster, and it's like, look, I get it. That was a horrible thing that happened, but I don't know. I don't watch mixed martial arts to have those kind of that kind of liberal propaganda shoved down my throat.
Completely agree, man. I'm here to watch fights. I don't want to talk about fucking agendas or any of that shit.
Exactly.
Which is amazing. I want to watch fights. That's why I don't listen to any of those actors with their like, we really need to start focusing on climate change as I accept my award.
You really need to focus on shutting the fuck up.
I love it. But Paddy, dude, he got it done. So when he was defending the takedown, he slid the leg across, got the body triangle, trapping the arm.
Trap the arm.
Dude, I was watching that fight and I said, this fight is over in a matter of seconds. There was no way he could defend. Beautiful.
I said the same thing. Literally, we were watching it at my mates. And as soon as he had that arm trap, I was like, it's done. It's done. There's 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and he's got his back and he's got his arm trapped. This is already over.
Because you can have the arm trapped and then forget about it, and the guy can pull his arm out. But he had the arm trapped in a body triangle, which is secure.
Perfect.
You're not getting out of there.
Paddy's grappling is so good. See, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, because he's got a kind of goofy persona, to put it politely, but because of that, I don't know, some people, they think that he doesn't take it seriously. No, he does. He's so much more technical than he gets credit for, actually.
Yeah.
And even with the stand-up, I know that he leaves openings, and from like a technical standpoint, like you're a boxing trainer, you're probably looking at his stand-up and you're just like, oh my God, so many fucking awful. But do you not think there's something in his thriving in the chaos? Because the reason his striking, I think, is so effective is because he doesn't know what he's throwing next. It's very difficult to predict what your opponent's going to throw if they don't know what they're going to throw. Do you know what I mean? Is there something to that?
100%. 100% agree. You're hit the nail on the head. If you look at someone like Marcus Davis, the Irish hand grenade, who migrated over from boxing, and his
great podcast out as well. You guys should check out Dave's interview with Marcus Davis. It was top tier, honestly, really good. Go back and check it out.
Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. But look at his boxing and how he migrated over and kept his boxing on point when he's striking in MMA. Then look at boxers like Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz, and their posture is down, their hands are down, they're throwing their 1-2s, their hooks, they're throwing not so much power, but more punches and bunches.
Yeah.
Hooks that come from wide, uppercuts that come from low. Striking in MMA is not an exact science yet. It's still not figured out. So you like Paddy is getting the job done, but it's not good boxing.
No,
it's just flawless MMA striking.
Yeah, that's it. And it's almost like a flow state he gets into it. And he thrives in the chaos. And that chaos is usually what forces his opponents to make a mistake. Because actually, like what Paddy used it, because Jordan Levitt, he said, "Oh no, Paddy did judo because he wasn't tough enough for wrestling." It's a great line, but it's bollocks. Some of those judo players, the really good judo players, are some of the toughest motherfuckers on the planet. Like, no lie. They are just, and Paddy's judo throws are so good. I don't think you saw any in that fight.
He tried a couple.
I think he tried them, but usually, like his judo throws, because that's what he does. He initiates the chaos. The chaos overwhelms his opponent. They come out, try to get a body lock, and he's like, "Thank you very much." And because I'm from a Japanese jiu-jitsu background, I know it as a loin wheel. But I don't know if they call it the same thing in judo, but it's basically where your leg, when you're going for like the throw, but your leg goes up higher across just above their knee, above your opponent's knee. Yeah. And it's that levers them over. And because of that, you kind of get a real nice torque on the throw. And he did it a lot in Cage Warriors, but I think it was because his competition wasn't quite as good and that he was able to do it. He used to do it all the time in Cage Warriors. It's why I kind of recognized it. As soon as I saw it, I was, it's a loin wheel. Yeah, very nice. And you don't see it that much in mixed martial arts, actually.
Yeah.
Like not since Ronda Rousey, really. Like, and Cara Parisian. There's a name that you haven't heard in a while. You know, the old judo master.
He got was it BJ Penn he got that with? Or Mark Hughes?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But I just know that Cara Parisian, there was one interview. It was after he won his fight. It's like, "My judo throws are the best throws in the world. All the other throws are thrown by little girls." But like, yeah, he just won by hip tossing some dude and armbar him. So I was like, "Oh, fair play to you, mate." That's pretty good.
Amazing, man. That's a fucking good fight, man, and a great message from Paddy Pimlet too after the fight, which we won't get into because again. Yeah. Politics and gender.
Well,
politics.
No. I don't. That wasn't politics. I thought that was nice, actually.
It was very nice. I completely agree with the message he was sending out. But the issue is because we can't define genders nowadays, Burt, because it's offensive to those who are not one of the two.
That's true.
You know. But yeah, there's a specific gender that's we'll call it male. The other one. And, you know, people again, the stigma, but again, I don't want to get into it on this one, but he sent a very, very good message. Guys,
it was very nice.
If you haven't seen Paddy Pimlet's post-fight interview with Michael Bisping, go check it out. He pays tribute to a fighter and he pays tribute to a little kid who's got a fight. So absolutely beautiful message.
But very quickly before we move on from Paddy Pimlet, go for it. Another thing I really enjoyed was he did do the teabagging thing.
He did. And
that was so beautiful. Funny. And actually, you know what? Jordan Levitt, he took it in good humor. Because the thing is, it was like, because he did it perfectly as well. It's just like,
yeah.
And then he turned around and he just gave him a thumbs up. He's like, "Oh, come on, man, I had to do it." And Levitt was like, "Yeah, to be fair, you know, I said I'm going to work on you. You go ahead, man." And it was very good. It was quite nice to see actually that they both like because that could have gone another way. That could have gone like nasty, couldn't it?
Yeah, true.
Like, but actually, because Levitt was just like, yeah, no, fair enough. I did lose. So, and I think it was that, like, Paddy did it with like a glint in his eye and a cheeky little like wink and a smile and a thumbs up. Like, I think that kind of softened the blow a little bit, and so it kind of made it a little bit less kind of egregious. Because there are some people that would have done that. They'd have been like, that they're just fully on rubbing it in, and the other fight would have taken it the other way. And,
like John Jones in DC when John Jones did the suck it thing.
Yeah, but he was right to do that.
In a way, yeah. Co-main event of the evening: Jack Hermanson versus Chris Curtis. Not the most exciting fight on the planet.
No, it wasn't.
A lot of wrestling, a lot of hugging, a lot of.
Do you know how dull it was?
How dull was it?
I don't remember who won. Who won? Who won?
Let me consult the interweb.
I actually don't remember. I remember it went to a decision, didn't it? I think I was literally just getting more beers and eating more barbecue.
I gotta be honest with you, man. The website says unanimous decision, but it doesn't say who won.
I'm going to say Jack Hermanson.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you.
Either way, we probably shouldn't break this one down too much, because I think if we're both being honest, neither of us can really remember it.
Chris Curtis, unanimous decision.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. No, good for him, man. Good for him.
The strikes, the wrestling, the stats: takedown 0, sub attempt 0, knockdown 0, reverse.
I do remember it was a lot of jabbing, a lot of. Look. No, they're elite fighters at the end of the day. They're not all going to be barn burners, but let's be fair. Like, I mean, Paddy and Molly were carrying that event, weren't they? And they did a great job.
They did,
because no one else was stepping up.
It's true.
Actually, tell a lie, Mason Jones was pretty good. That fight went to a decision, but it was at least a bloody good fight. It was fun.
Those elbows, those cutting elbows in that fight, dude. Oh, what was that in the prelims? I remember.
Yeah, it was the prelim headliner, I think.
Man, those elbows from when the guy's going in on the takedown.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mason Jones. He's very, very skilled. I think we'll see a lot more from him. He's just got a little bit of work to do. And it is what it is. Yeah.
And then the main event of the evening: Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. It was a TKO finish, and it was 15 seconds. It was 15 seconds. It was just.
But it was. Silence. I mean, it was a TKO finish, but it was an injury.
It was an injury. It was. It was
like, because that.
I don't know what it was. Was it an ACL or MCL?
They haven't really specified how bad that's what worries me. They haven't specified how bad it is yet, and the way Tom was reacting to it, I was heartbroken, honestly.
Yeah, he couldn't breathe.
Because I'm such a big fan of Tom Aspinall. He just not only is he a bad motherfucker, but he just seems like he's a nice bloke. Like he's just he's just
it's one of the boys.
He's just one of the guys, and like it was nice that him and Curtis had a beer afterwards. Though I
was just going to say that to you. Yeah, they were in the hotel having a beer together. Yeah. That's the coolest thing about this fight.
That's nice. Yeah, because he said before the fight, actually, he's like, "Look, I'm a fan of Curtis Blades." Because I think it was on Michael Bisping's podcast, and he's been interviewed by Mike, and he was saying, "Hey, I've got no problem with Curtis. In fact, I wanted to fight him because I like Curtis, but I'm a fan of his work." I said we were both at the same event. We were getting some sort of like massage or something like something done, physio or something in Vegas, and they're both the same place. He said, I'm a fan of your work, and he's like, he probably doesn't even remember that I said that. He doesn't but I just wanted him to know that professional courtesy. I'm a fan of what he does, but Tom Aspinall just seems like a genuinely nice bloke, and so does Curtis Blades. To be fair, this was one of those fights where I was like, this is going to be a shame for one of them to lose, honestly. Because I actually like Curtis Blades. Like Tom Aspinall, I'm a fan of his work as well. I really am. I think he's so good at what he does. I do think there is a title reign possibly in Curtis Blades' future. And I do think there's one in Tom Aspinall's future. But unfortunately, they're just going to clash every time, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
But it was great to see them, in the hotel after. It actually brought me back to, like, you've been in the gym, you've been surrounded by people who are in combat sports and things like that. Like after 4, 5, 6, 7 months, the ego kind of gets beaten out of everybody.
Yeah, it goes
And
away.
you know, there, you end up with like the guys with the big egos are the guys that don't survive.
Yeah,
But the guys who are fucking really cool, down to earth guys, you end up becoming best friends with them, you know. When I was training in, let's say, 2009, 2010, and 2011, my pivotal months or my pivotal years for combat sports, the gym that I was in, we would have these fight nights where two guys in the gym would be paired up against each other, and there'd be like 20 guys, 10 fights, and you just end up fighting one of your best friends from the gym that you train with, your training partner, and then you're drinking with them after. And like, you don't get that with shitty people.
yeah,
So you're just surrounded by great people all the time. And when trash talk is pushed, especially with the UFC, it's like it's forced because he probably seems like a nice guy, but he's trying to do this because it's the Conor McGregor way.
yeah.
So it frustrates me. But you've been around probably a lot of really cool people in the gym, I would imagine, right?
I have, yeah, yeah. A lot of really cool people. Some assholes as well. They are there. Like it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, no. For the most part, actually, I found actually that's in most gym environments, whether it's an MMA gym or a weightlifting gym or whatever. Like most of the time, the people that look the scariest are actually the nicest because they're there to work out. They just want to work out. They want to do their thing, and they're usually like they're pretty helpful. Like they'll help you out as well. It's nice.
Yeah. The last guy I fought got an invite to my wedding, my last fight ever.
Oh,
Really cool guy. We went out, we got drunk that night after together. We were talking about our training and what we were trying to do against each other and what we didn't capitalize on and things like that. Like, I got married like the next year. He got an invite to the wedding. Motherfucker didn't go because he couldn't go. But that's what you're surrounded by, a lot of nice people. And you know, people from the outside or people who are new think we're fucking animals with screws loose. But what are you gonna do?
Couldn't be more wrong. Couldn't be wrong. I do. You know, that is a common misconception.
Mhm.
And like I said, it's because, like I said, it's because I do mostly, like, you know, I do t-shirt training these days, mate. You know, just so I can look good in a t-shirt, and that's about it. But yeah, no, I've been around, you know, a few martial arts gyms in my time, and yeah, most of the time the people are just very, very nice, and they're more than willing to kind of help you learn as well, because it's all a learning environment. And you're right, the ego gets. I mean, I'll be honest, I never went into a martial arts gym with an ego because I wasn't, you know, like a tough kid growing up or whatever. I've never seen myself as that, so I didn't have an ego going in. So it was, you know, it was just, I was always just like, well, you know, you're gonna batter me, but it's like, because weirdly I had a role with someone. It was really dumb actually, but because we were all drunk, and I don't know why he said he wanted to fight me, and I was like, oh, why? And he's like, well, what do you want to do then? What do you want to box? You want to, like, what do you want to do? He was just like, I was like, we can grapple if you want. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, okay. We'll have a grapple. How much training have you done? You're a pretty big dude. You're probably gonna wipe the floor with me, mate. You know, go fine. I mean, I knew secretly that I was probably gonna fucking have an easy time, and it was relatively easy.
Did you put him out?
Oh no, I got him into it. Like, I was trying. The thing is, I had him in like in like a choke, but I was going to end up hurting him, like really hurting. And I was just like, So I kind of talked my way through it. I was just like, I got him into the mount. I was just like, okay, right, look, you're not going to tap from like the neck crank. I don't want to hurt your neck. So what I'm going to do, and this is whilst he's trying to fucking get out from under me. I was like, what I'm going to do next, mate? I'm going to grab this arm here, this arm that I've got now, this wrist, yeah. This arm is the one that I'm taking, and when I take it, like, you are going to have to tap, because I am going to hyperextend it if you don't. So please just tap straight away, because right, I've got it now. There you go. And there you go. And then he tapped. So yeah, and then we shook hands. It was fine. He's a nice guy, but I thought it was just a bit weird. I don't know why he wanted to. It was because we were watching some.
First of all, it wasn't because you were watching some. It was because he probably knew you did jiu-jitsu and he had a few beers in his system, right?
I mean, I don't think he knew that I did jiu-jitsu. I don't think he knew. He didn't. It's not someone that I know well.
Okay.
You know, it's a friend of a friend. But basically what it was we were watching Barstool Sports. They do this thing called Rough and Rowdy.
I love it. I love it.
Brilliant. And I really, because there's a place for trash talk. There is a place where trash talk is not only required, but it's necessary. Has to happen. Yeah. And there's a guy called the Big Dick Booty Daddy. And that's that. And I was just I was just very vocal in my support of Big Dick Booty Daddy. And for some reason he didn't share though it, but it wasn't like I was forcing my support on him. He just supported the other guy. I was like, that's fair enough. But then he, I don't know, like turned around and said, so well, sometimes it's the quiet ones that'll mess you up. I was just like, yeah, no, probably. And he was just like, well, I think I'd have you. I was like, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why I like to watch fights, cleaning my kitchen after supper, bro.
Yeah. It is fun though.
But Rough and Rowdy is great, man.
I was quite, because I never like to assume that I'm harder than anybody, because I just don't assume that. I really don't. So I said to her, I was like, yeah, no, you're a pretty big dude. Yeah, you probably have me. And he's like, oh, I want to fight you. I was like, okay. I mean, I will. Don't want to. I mean, I will. If you want
to. Let's go. Let me just get my mouthpiece in my pocket. Amazing. Burt Green, I absolutely love breaking down these fights with you, man. Breaking them down before, there's a different feeling when we watch it in real time and then break it down after and then analyze what we actually watched. And it was a lot easier last night because we watched them at a reasonable hour. So
exactly.
Maybe we can do more of these, like after Vegas fights on a Sunday.
Yeah, because there's not so much of a time constraint then for people to tune in. Yeah, because a lot of time, that's a problem with my pick show. Catch it on the Burt Locker every week on YouTube. Basically, obviously, I post them on a Friday, but there's only then one day for the picks to still be relevant. Like after that point, they're not relevant anymore because they've already gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But it's awesome, man. I love breaking these down with you. I am very excited to watch John Jones versus Gustafsson and break that down with you in a debate podcast. We'll do that next week.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in. Yeah. We'll sort it out in behind the scenes, guys. Behind the scenes, we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. Burt, tell everyone where you are.
I am the Burt Locker on YouTube. You can catch me on Patreon as well. Patreon gets extra fight breakdowns every week. And I'm also _Burt Green on Instagram, _Burt Green on Twitter. Basically, just type in Burt Green anyway. You'll find me.
Awesome, man. And don't forget, people, to like, share, and subscribe on this podcast, CMA Podcast, Going Nowhere. We are killing the game in relation to breakdowns. We are trying our best to get as much content out as possible. Life is busy, but we are still fucking trying. Burt, thank you very much for joining me once again. We'll do it again.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. Rock and roll, guys.